The other option for the changing urban environment part of the unit, in terms of a case study, is to get you to look at squatter settlements. And our case study for that is Dharavi in Mumbai, India. Now, the exam board might ask two different kind of questions around this case study. Firstly, they might ask you about the conditions of living in Dharavi and the impact this has on people's lives, or they might ask you how you could improve Dharavi and therefore what impact that has on people's lives. So if we start off with the conditions first, I always like to remind myself that Dharavi is built on top of a swamp. So I start off kind of with a baseline or a ground line, okay, with swamp written underneath it. Okay, quite an undesirable place to live. It's the reason why Dharavi was able to set up there. Nobody else had wanted to live there. Okay, then we start off with some of the key factors or key figures. Probably the most well remembered one is that there's only one toilet per 500 people. Okay, that's my drawing of a toilet. Okay. This is combined with clean water only being available for 2 hours every day. Okay. As a result of that, diseases spread very quickly around Mumbai and particularly Dharavi. So you have 5,000 people ill a day with things such as tuberculosis and other waterborne diseases such as cholera. Other kind of expected characteristics of a squatter settlement is the cramped living conditions. It's a very high population density, so you can represent that with a series of houses that are very closely packed together. Okay, and they have, in many houses, over 20 people living inside them. Okay, all of the same family, but lots of different generations. Obviously, that contributes to the large number of diseases because it means they can spread easier, but it also means there's a lack of privacy for people living there. The houses are generally quite makeshift as well, and built out of things such as wood, corrugated iron, and, in some cases, a material called asbestos that can cause cancer if it becomes broken up and the fibres get into the air and is breathed in by people. Obviously, the way that they're built, the fact that they're very close together, also means there's a large fire hazard. Okay, and the fires can spread very quickly through the houses. On top of that, we need to also think about things such as the sewage, okay, which is generally open, which again encourages the spread of diseases, causes water contamination, and contributes to this large number of people being ill a day. Dharavi also suffers from toxic materials from nearby factories ending up in the water supply. So obviously that will have a significant effect on people's lives. Generally people will be ill, there's a lack of privacy, and there's also a chance of injury or death due to the kind of makeshift nature of the houses. Either they might catch fire or possibly collapse. Now we also need to look at how we can improve the living conditions of people in squatter settlements, and there's three major strategies here. Okay. Firstly, you've got self-help. This is where the government give people in Dharavi tools and training and materials to improve their own homes. Maybe make them more permanent out of bricks, or maybe install electricity. Two really good things about that. It means that the houses are less likely to collapse, so the people inside them are safer. Also, it gives people a skill that maybe they can use to get employment. We also have DIY. And this is where people are out their own money and off their own backs go and improve their homes. Common kind of features of DIY are making the houses out of brick so they're less likely to collapse, or putting water butts on the roof so that they have a 24-hour access to clean water rather than the 2 hours that they had before. The other strategy that's worth talking about is the idea of site and service. This is where the government give people a plot of land, and on that plot of land things such as electricity, gas, water and sewage will already be installed, and then it is up to the people that they give that plot of land to build a house on. Obviously, by giving them those utilities, the things like the sewage and the clean water, it really does improve the people's lives there. It reduces the chance of them drinking contaminated or infected water, and the sanitation is much better.